Hello, today we have brought leadership training workshop for you and its title is Leadership, a Key to Success. Earlier we had delivered this training in Urdu which was very much liked. On the advice of our friends and mentors, now we will also deliver this training in English as well. We have divided this training in four parts or sessions. The leadership skills training helps to build confidence and flows the way for future inspirational leaders. By imparting this training, organization can prepare its employees who have the potential to take up managerial roles in future. With this training, they not only can differentiate between the good, fair, and excellent leaders, but also learn the successful leadership habits. Let's start with the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. These are our leadership training contents. This is an other slides for our training contents. Usually, the concept of leadership or leader is generally associated with the politics, and the leader is considered to be the one who always busy in the politics and lead the political movements, and thus, due to his struggle, reaches to the house of power. The leader is supposed to be followed as many people as possible and ascend to the throne. However, this is a limited concept of leader or leadership, because leadership is not limited to politics only. A leader is a person who changes the course of events and lead people to ultimate success. One can succeed in his personal life only when he has all the necessary leadership skills. Such people are not only successful in their personal life as well as in their corporate life. Allah Almighty had endowed every human being with various hidden abilities. There is a need of time to reveal these hidden talents. Every human is a planner, an administrator, and a leader, and his personality is dominated by one of these three qualities. Situation and time forces him to live under one of these abilities. But if a person uses his leadership skills as the head of a home or organization or an office manager, then success will surely follow in his footsteps. Leadership is a blessing from Allah Almighty, but it will not only be given to politicians, but of course, this ability will be given to all human beings, but very few people are able to use it. It has often been observed that the majority of people leave themselves at the mercy of situations. Only a few people cope with the situation with their intellect and wisdom and secure and succeed in turning the tide. Leadership that is based on high human values and natural principles, its achievements are also permanent and everlasting. There is no shortcut to success in any field. Although majority of persons want to achieve success overnight for their development, but it's a gradual process and requires constant effort. Man is a social animal and cannot live alone without his peers. He is born into a family, attends schools, goes to college, and then associated with various situations for his livelihood. His job is to pledge full cooperation with others. If we fail to understand the importance of mutual principles of relationship with others, our progress will stop, or at least this process will become sluggish. Therefore, it is important for a successful person to be a leader and move forward and lead others to success. Remember that success of an organization or a nation is more important than personal success. Qualities of a successful leader. Usually, a successful leader possesses following 8 qualities. Now we discuss them one by one. Number 1, continuing acquisition of learning. Continuous learning is the process of learning new skills and knowledge on an ongoing basis. It involves self initiative and taking on challenges. A successful leader goes through an enduring learning process and is constantly learning the knowledge and thus benefits from the latest research and experience from around the globe. Continuous learning can also be within an organization or it can be personal, such as in lifelong learning. Staying competitive in today's global market means that organization needs to be innovative, adaptive, and ever changing. Learning is a base for any new innovation. New process and planning. Leaders should learn new knowledge or skills in order to see realities of life in a new light and take that next leap. Followers or employees need to be able to challenge themselves in order to obtain new knowledge, ideas, and skills. A successful leader never ashamed of questioning. He is curious and keep expanding his knowledge. He is active in learning new skills and competencies. In this way, he keeps increasing his knowledge throughout his life. Number two, dedicated to the spirit of service. Service is an expression of gratitude to society. People who consider themselves a leader or committed to become a leader or want to dedicate their lives to the people are committed to serving the people from the very beginning. They think about others all the time. Selflessness and sacrifice are all the hallmark of their personalities. Such individuals are always ready for social work or service. Social service does not mean merely going out into the street and cleaning them. Whatever work you are engaged in, whatever duties you have to perform as an official or an employee, to do your duties efficiently and with diligence and devotion is a social service. There are so many grounds of social work. It is not necessary to create a welfare organization or any NGO. You can do this by helping others in your home, office, institutions, and organizations. If you don't have a sense of responsibility, a sense of service to the people, say social service, then whatever you want to do in life will be just a futile endeavor. Number three, positive thinking. Positive thinking is a mental attitude in which you expect good and favorable results. The hallmark of a leader are levelness, a positive attitude, a cheerful nature, and a jolly character. Their attitude is always encouraging and optimistic. Their spirit is high, enthusiastic, and determined. The positive thinking also pervades the environment around them. This positive thinking not only dominates the environment around them but also affects those who work with them. Leaders' positive thinking creates thoughts that generate and transform energy into reality. These positive thoughts also neutralize the attitude and thinking of the negative thinking people around them. Or they may separate themselves from people with negative thinking. Their intellect protects them from their toxic and negative effects. Positive thinking helps to embarrassing human problems or conflicts through peace and reconciliation instead sorrow and grief, and thus overcome the destruction of negative thinking individuals. Number four, trust. Trust is a backbone of any relationship, whether it is personal or corporate. When your team trusts you as a leader, it increases commitment to team goals. Communication improves and ideas flows more freely, increasing creativity and productivity. When followers trust a leader, they are willing to be vulnerable to the leader's action. Trust is a positive expectation that another individual will not act opportunistically at another's expense. Trust is the foundation on which leadership stands. A person is a leader when he has people to follow him with their own will, not with compliance or force in the path provided by him. An organization with strong relationships will always withstand any crisis or downsizing with ease. The foundation of a great workplace is created by organizational credibility, respect, fairness, which form the foundation of trust. Good leaders do not encourage resentment or prejudice against others. Rather, they look at their unseen essence. A trustworthy leader doesn't insult, manipulate, or humiliate anybody, publicly or privately. Number five, balanced life. Successful leaders possesses balance in their professional and personal lives. They read good books, new articles, and research studies. They are mentally and physically active and have many interests. They are mentally and physically active and have many interests. The key to establishing an enhanced work life balance is developing the right mindset. No doubt, leadership is a full time job, and by nature, leaders are fiercely ambitious. Once one goal has been accomplished, they are envisioning the next. They set high targets for themselves and others and are determined to continue to climb the corporate ladder. Leaders are competitive. Their objective is to ensure that the organization shines above their competitors. But whilst all these traits are positive and necessary characteristics, it's simply not possible to sustain this uh, drive without taking the occasional break. Finding ways to get your team more active is a great example of a strong work life balance initiatives. Persistence of life. Number six. Persistence is probably one of the most admirable characters of a person can one can possess. No great achievement is possible without persistent work. It is the ability to be determined to do or achieve something regardless of any setbacks. For leaders, life is a constant struggle. They are brave and adventurous enough and always ready to go on difficult paths. They are so curious about the future events. They are not afraid of difficulties, but they face difficult situations with high spirits rather than to escape them. They are not intimidated by anyone, they don't follow anyone, they choose their path themselves. The best and successful leaders are not strict, but their attitude is always flexible and compassionate. They live their life at its zenith. Number seven, revolutionary role. Leaders are the revolutionists by nature. They change others. They have the ability to change the course of events. Every situation they caught with, they improve it. They believe in collective efforts and work together to overcome their weaknesses. They trust in the abilities and talent of others and believe in empowering them to achieve good results. They do not misunderstand others so that they do not need supervision. They do not lose touch with their team even in the worst circumstances and do not fight for position. They put the interest of others first. In this way, other people become aware of their sincerity and help them in solving problems. Number eight, personal restoration. Successful leaders foster all the qualities of human character, that is, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. They did physical exercises which keep their heart and blood circulation healthy and increases their immunity and resilience. Such people study to keep their mind sharp and increase their knowledge through print and electronic media to increase their mental capacity. They listen carefully to what others have to say and show emotional patience. They love their people selflessly. Successful leaders have seven unique characters. Therefore, it is necessary to gradually make these human qualities a part of one's personality. Here are seven unique features. Now we discuss them one by one. Number one, self-awareness. Self-awareness is very important feature of personality development because when we have better understanding of ourselves, we are able to experience ourselves as unique and separate individuals. It will give us an insight into our belief that whether they are positive or holding you back. If you are aware, then this will give you knowledge which yields you to know that what you need to do and what direction you need to go to make changes to improve and be successful. Self awareness helps to produce one's reaction that yield his impression. This ability is for to choose the best answer or the best reaction. Here, reaction means the responsibilities. People with a lack of self awareness put the responsibility of their weaknesses and worst state on others, situation and events, or the environments as well. They won't expect the results. In other words, when you blame someone for your weakness, you empower them and put your power in their hands so that they dominate you. On the contrary, high moral people are, are rich in the essence of self awareness. They understand that they have the creative power of their own lives, so they create their lives and they don't depend on their situation and events. They are free for their reaction. They can respond others and in difficult situation by their own. Successful leader always adopt tolerant, patient, and responsible behavior. Imagination and consensus. Imagination and consensus are a foundation or backbone of human society. They both are complementary to each other. Consensus helps to judge difference between right and wrong, while one can set his course of action through imagination by using his time, ability, and tools and techniques or resources. Lack of imagination produces a sense of futility about goals, objectives, and endeavors. If a person is suffering from frustration and despair or is affected by his past, then he can't do his work with complete devotion and dedication. He always thinking that sooner or later the time will arise to change his condition. On the other hand, people with high imagination and consensus ability are able to change their condition through optimistic and proposal move. Such people or such type of person has hope and good understanding of their situation so that they plan their future in their mind and can imagine their future. Power of intention. The power of intention is the power of a focused mind. The ability will assist man to set goals and objectives for his life. This ability yields power of decision. People who has lack of this ability leave themselves at the mercy of the situation. They run away from the responsibilities, they are ineffective, they take easy paths and finally lose the ability to make decisions. While people with this ability tends to live a highly organized life, they have a lofty goals and face difficulty and hardship bravely and courageously. However, it is not necessary for them to be engaged in immediate activities. Their life consists of planning and influencing. For a successful leader, it is important that he should be equipped with the virtues of being organized rather than giving up hope and cause or disorder. Broad photosensitivity. Successful leaders are always open-minded and open-hearted. A person acts narrowly only when he is insecure or feel to be insecure. A successful person sees everything in the light of his principles. When people related to them committed any mistake, they don't come to game, blame game. But they think that every person has different mindset and he has some weakness. So successful person or leader tolerate their subordinate and do not bound them to live according to their own will and values and principle. Instead, he gave them complete freedom. He treats his subordinates with compassion and kindness because his sense of security lives in him and it is not bound of other people. He is a man of principle. Broad-mindedness is creates a feeling of abundance, understanding and courage. First understanding and then explaining to other is actually called understanding and courage. Successful men should think calmly about the problems that a person faces and he should always think about other people's impartially and listening to them carefully. Courage is a highly prized virtue. It is the ability to act on one's belief despite danger or disapproval. Courageous people do not feel fear, but they are able to manage and overcome their fear so that it does not stop them taking action. Courageous people stand up against things that threaten them or things that or people that they care about. Lack of communication is more or less a root cause of many human problems. In fact, people don't listen others sincerely. They listen others within their own mental intuitivity. They have the lack of listening ability and they also don't have the ability and skills about mutual attitude of being conscious. They listen others in their own spheres. Their stance is that when I feel that I need your advice, I will give you the opportunity. While listening skills requires patience, respect, and high esteem. And to understand human, it requires courage and kindness. It is a two-way communication where courage maintains a balance with understanding. Creative ability. Creative ability is defined as the ability to freely present oneself without inhibition, limitation, or anxiety. It is one of the most important human qualities of innovation. It means to create something new, that is, to offer a solution of a problem which is more effective and better than someone else suggested solution. Most negotiations are in fact bargaining, but reconciliation has the best result oriented. You step back your stance for the partnership and understand your mutual needs and interests and finally find a solution that will satisfy each party. There is a need of time to encourage others that they think with harmony. If the team spirit is formed, a strong relationship is established, and people are willing to submit their immediate desire to one particular person and establish a lasting relationship with them. Despite this, never ever use third language or calling them by name, bad names to others. Everyone has a self-respect and dignity and it's your moral duty to understand and respect it as yours. If you have some issues with someone, you should meet him and tell him about your concerns and solve the problem optimistically. Personal restoration. No one denying the importance of constantly improving human capabilities. Personal renewal or restoration is absolutely necessary to avoid inefficiency and being useless. If you don't improve yourself, do not renew or improve yourself, then you will gradually become inefficient and useless, and system will throw you out. Lo and behold, that at one end is this an inefficiency and at the other end is this is innovation, continuous improvement and restoration and restructuring. The three intentions. Usually it is considered that one can change his or her negative and rigid old habit by just adopted new and good habits. But as time passed, we realized that it's not so easy to get rid of these negative old and rigid habits. but they still persist even if we change our situation and good intentions. If someone wants to come out of his past, want to change his unpleasant habits and norms and wants to bring positive change in his lifestyle, then he has to pay some price for it. So gather your resources, fasten your seat belts. For example, if we observe space traveling, then we realized that the spacecraft needed a strong push to get out of Earth's orbit. Just like this, one such push is needed to get rid of these negative old habits. In order to get rid of these negative habits, such as over criticizing, overeating, over talking, over sleeping, laziness, and procrastination, will require more than just a little determination. Just determination is not enough. We have to create new enthusiasm and new strength in people. We have to motivate them. There are many forces happen to work in human life that can scatter our new ambitions. Among them, following three resistance forces are very important. These are hunger and feelings, proudness and pretending, desires and wishes. Now we discuss them one by one. Hunger and feeling. To defeat the power of resistance of hunger and emotion, we must have to make a promise that I will always adhere to my personal discipline and self denial. If we remain captive of our stomach, sooner or later our stomachs will overwhelm us and become the master of our combustion and intentions. The metabolism of human body changes with time. Therefore, it is utter nonsense to deliberately swallow harmful substances. Staying healthy at this stage requires more understanding than before. Eating unhealthy, sleeping late, and for a long time sitting idle and avoiding exercises affect our personal lives as well as our professional lives. Psychiatrist believes that hunger and feeling affects your productivities towards your work. Proudness and pretending. To defeat the power of resistance of proudness and pretending, we must have to make a promise that I will always truly adhere to my character and utilize all my powers to fulfill my duties or responsibilities. Most people are accustomed to influencing others and deceiving themselves with arrogance, fake and false claims instead of improving their performances, character, and abilities. The only way to live respectful in this world is to be what we want to be. Most people worry more about their perception that they want others to praise them no matter what they do. They want that their impressions on others be good and high. The urge to look stronger, powerful, successful, and innovative compels us to go through artificial turmoil and work with pride and arrogance. But when we are in harmony with our principles and values, we become neutral, honest, and clear. People who use deception, dishonesty, lies, and hypocrisy, they end up with a lot of trouble and suffering. If a person continues to work with fabrication and acting and maintains his illusions, then in fact he is deceiving himself. Desire and wishes. To overcome these human weaknesses, one should arbitrarily determine that I promise to use all my abilities and resources for positive and noble purposes and to serve other human beings. The low level and greedy man are preoccupied with his own interest and personal glory. He always concerned only in achieving his own personal goals and agendas. They always think about what will they get out of it. They have no more high principle. They consider themselves above the law. Their eyes are always on wealth, power, authority, fame, status, rule, and possessions. On the contrary, a person with high morals is honest, humble, well mannered, and service oriented. He is full of spirits of self sacrifice in him. Unless we overcome our innate appetite and natural weaknesses, we will not be able to subdue our emotions and arbitrariness. On the contrary, we are quick to tumble, struggling to our emotions, pursue wealth, dominance, honor, and power. It is therefore imperative that we adhere to these three intentions that enhance our personality development, essence, ability, and performance. Greatness of character. For long lasting success in life and for guiding other people to a certain level and for certain cause, one should be morally high in his character. Otherwise, a person with a drooping or a weak character may not be able to force a single person, even his family, to do something special, even for a simple task. Following three qualities are essential in a high profile or great character personas: honesty, maturity, and generosity. Now we discuss them one by one. Honesty. Honesty is a fact of moral character that implies positive and virtuous attributes such as integrity, truthfulness, straightforwardness, including straightforwardness of conduct, along with the absence of lying, cheating, theft, etc. Honesty also involves being trustworthy, loyal, fair, and sincere. When a person undoubtedly recognizes himself and manages his priorities, then he makes meaningful promises and then make them accomplish at any cost. This process enhances its value and prestige. On the other hand, if a person cannot fulfill his promises with himself and others, then his character becomes meaningless, and by realizing his hypocrisy and two-facedness attitude, people become careful about them. It is an old proverb that honesty is the best policy. Honesty is valued in many ethnic and religious cultures. Islam emphasizes not only the duty to be honest, truthful, and trustworthy, but also the social obligation to always support truthful people, to associate with the truthful ones, and to keep their company. Maturity. Maturity is the ability to respond to the environment, being aware of the correct time and location to behave, and knowing when to act according to the circumstances and the culture of the society one lives in. In matters of fact, maturity is a balance between courage and understanding. We can say that if a person admits his feelings and mistakes with courage and maintain balance with the feelings and deficiencies or weaknesses of others, then such a person is a mature person. If he is immature in his ideology and emotions, then he gains his power, position, official status through power or with unfair means. Generosity. Generosity is the virtue of being liberal in giving. The ideology or philosophy that Allah Almighty produced everything for every human being in this world gives escalate to generosity, personal value, and a high sense of security. A person who wants to snatch something or everything and wants to see others deprived is actually insecure and unaware of his virtues. Generosity creates a shared identity, benefit, and responsibility. This leads to new creative alternatives and opportunities. However, many people in life have a narrow minded and prejudiced mindset. They limit the blessings found in the world. If someone else gets some blessings, they think there is nothing left for them. Such people cannot share in the benefits, fame, power, and authorities to others. They also find it difficult to express happiness over other people's success. When another person gets some happiness, success, or fame, they feel that something will be taken away from them. A person with honesty to mature vision and open heart has in fact a trust based on sincerity. In fact, a truth based on sincerity which is free from any negative tactics. Sustainable solutions to human problem, lasting happiness and success come from the inner state of mind to the outer state of mind. People with external to internal thinkings are always unhappy and feel overwhelmed and helpless. Therefore, it is important that if a person is happy from inside, then the effects of his happiness affect the external environment as well, and the wealth outside and the weather outside seems more pleasant. Otherwise, he cannot enjoy his life. Here we will take a little break. After the break, we will discuss change in thinking process and how to acquire great powers for successful leadership.